Oh crap, was I supposed Hello everyone, and welcome back to Maldor's Crafts. Here we are for part 3 of Cragmaw Hideout. Yes, I kept my promise. I'm trying to get you guys part 3 out this week. We had part 2 come out last week, so I hope you all enjoyed that. And with that being said, I'd also like to thank all my new subscribers and my new views. I've been checking out the channel, keeping updated on all the past posts, and just seeing the progress of the channel, and we're starting to pick up, starting to grow. We got I think it's like 9 subscribers right now, and something like close to almost maybe 70 views. I don't know, I haven't really counted the numbers, but I'm watching them go up. So again, all you guys out there in YouTube world, crafters, DMs, Dungeons and Dragons fans alike, thank you all so much. Again, it gives me the motivation to keep doing these videos for you guys, so I'm going to keep putting them out there. So again, if you haven't already subscribed to Maldor's Crafts, check out my Facebook page. I just recently put that up. Again, subscribe, like, and share. If you subscribe, make sure to check the bell notification and get notified when I put out future content. So again, thank you all so very much. You can also reach me at maldorscrafts@gmail.com. I'll put a link at the end of the video in case you guys missed it. So it's maldorscrafts@gmail.com. Hit me up. Give me a like, send me a comment, ask a question. Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Anything on the channel, any ideas you guys might have on future content you want to see me put out there, any builds, yeah, definitely hit me up on that. And you can also reach me on Facebook and check out my content there as well. I post stuff up weekly about games that we've been playing, and I also post the videos that we make on this channel to Facebook. So if you want to keep up with the channel there as well, go ahead and send me a friend request, or just look at the content link, and then it can take you to that page as well on Facebook. So that's going to be Facebook /Maldor's Crafts. So make sure to check that out as well. So let's get right to it. So last week we put out Cragmaw Hideout Part 2, and we talked about how we painted all those pieces together and really started to make that map pop and come to life. And this video, it's going to be a little shorter than the previous ones. There's just not that much content to put together because it's kind of the end of Cragmaw Hideout. So I didn't explain in the last video. Some of you are probably wondering, what happened to all the other pieces that you cut out and built? We didn't get to see those painted. The videos were already some of them were 20+ minutes long. So I didn't want to, make these videos drag out because, they're already just so long. So what happened was, if you paint all those pieces, black bomb them with the Mod Podge and the black mix, and then just add your colors and do the dabbing with the cotton ball, and you continue to do that with all the pieces, it's pretty much going to be the same. So what I did was I only filmed the 2 pieces being painted, so that way you got an idea of how to do the rest of that map and all the tiles for that. So everything that you did in the beginning, or and everything we did in the beginning, you're just going to continue to do that with the whole entire rest of the map. And if you just follow those instructions, or like I said, it is your map if you decide to build it. Just kind of come up with your own colors and your own ideas and do it exactly the same throughout the entire map. And you know, it'll look great. I'm pretty sure it's going to come together and look really, really, really great. So with that being said, in part 3 here, we're going to start adding some of the finer details. And as we're reviewing the videos, you're going to also be able to see the rest of the map and how it looked. And then I'll also do a final shot of the entire map, you know, in its entirety, and then you get a really, really, really good idea of what it may look like when it's done. So got our little cutout here from the first video. So as you can see, we got the 4 pieces here that I went ahead and measured and cut out. The ones that we had talked about, black bombing and just, you know, coloring up just so the videos weren't long. That was going to be these 2 main pieces right here. And I kind of jumped on this one here. So these 3 pieces here, we really didn't get into this big piece right here with the bridge and the little waterfall and the cave pools coming down out to the stream outside. So we'll kind of focus more on that piece today. This is the piece we're going to really focus on because we have the rocks here, you know, and we have the stalagmites and also the bridge. We're going to construct that today and paint those all up. So this is going to be basically a finalization of Cragmaw Hideout in its entirety. So yeah, enough with the talking. Let's get to crafting. Alright, so we're going to start off here with a little pile of Pebble Stone. These are actually fish tank Pebble Stone, and I picked these up at Walmart. They're going to work out real great here for the little rock dam that we're going to put into the twin pool cave. So as you can see, I already laid a couple of these little pebbles down, and we're just going to go ahead and use Elmer's glue, or if you have something else such as white PVA glue, basically the same thing, you can go ahead and use that. It'll work out really good. So I tried to use a set of tweezers to lay these rocks in because I wanted to be real precise as far as putting them down in the glue, but it was just easier to go ahead and use my fingers, so that's what I'm doing here. So what we're doing is we're just going to go ahead and lay a nice bead of PVA glue all the way down the brim of the water line, and we're just going to go ahead and keep laying these little pebble stones on there. I was kind of worried that this glue wouldn't set fast enough for the pebble stones, but it didn't take that long for them to dry, so just probably wait about half an hour at the most, and it should dry up pretty good. And as you can see here, we got the rest of that paint looking pretty good with the water lines. So right about here, this is where the bridge is going to be. So I need to measure out about how far across and wide that I want the bridge to be, and this came out to be about close to 5 inches across and about 1 inch wide. So I just went ahead and measured that, and I think I actually made them a little bit wider, maybe 1.5 inches when it was all said and done. So after you get those measured out, I just used a pair of snippers here, and what we're using is just regular old wood crafting sticks, popsicle sticks if you will, and I started off by snipping off the edges of these and just making them nice and flat on each side. Just be careful when you cut these. The little edges will go shooting off like a bullet, so I just tried to cover the other side as I was cutting them off so they didn't fly all over the place. And after I got it all measured up and cut, I went ahead and did a dry fit, and that's what we did there. And so what we're doing now is I have a wire brush, and I just took each individual piece that I had already cut, and I'm just kind of aggressively brushing across. I realized after I was done, it probably would have been a lot easier to go ahead and use the wire brush on the full sticks before I cut them. That way I had something to grab onto, because you can't really tell here, but I'm actually kind of digging into my fingers and it didn't feel too good. So yeah, make sure that you do this before you cut them. So after you have that done, what you want to do next is use a hot glue gun. Hot glue gun is going to be real important in this process here for making the bridge. So I just went ahead and did the dry fit to make sure that everything was going to fit pretty well. So I just added a small bead on each side and glued the first piece on. And after I got this first piece on, I realized that the two long pieces I chose were kind of warped, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and glue it all together, and it's gonna fit nice and tight when it's all said and done anyways. So same thing, add a nice little healthy bead on each side, and then you can put the bottom platform on the opposite side. So these pieces that I'm putting on here now, they're going to be the bottom platform piece, and later on I'll cut a little piece of foam to the right height. That way I can give the effect that the bridge is, you know, kind of sitting on the rocks almost. So when you have those pieces glued on, do the same thing to the opposite side. Now we're actually going to start putting our planks on that are going to go all the way across. So we got our first plank on there, just kind of starting it, and we're going to do the same exact thing on the opposite side. And the reason why I did the ends first is because once I have the ends on, I could kind of play with the inner planks. I didn't want them to be exactly perfect or spaced apart. I kind of wanted them to have like a, you know, a rough, I guess it would be kind of like an old Indiana Jones, you know, dungeon, cavern kind of rickety looking bridge. So I spaced them uneven, and I also angled them and turned them kind of, you know, disproportionate from each other, so they look unnatural. So this makes it look real cool, you know, as if, you know, goblins had put it together. So and you can't really tell in this view the wire brush lines that I had put in there, but you know, the video doesn't no justice, you know, to the naked eye. The wire brush did a really good job of putting those lines in there, and once the paint sets in, that's when you're really going to be able to see these lines. So again, I'm just you know, adding each individual plank, and I am not setting them perfectly apart. This can kind of be a meticulous little process, but you know, as they say, you can't rush perfection. So just take your time with it, and you know, these little projects like this turn out to be they're the funnest of them all. So as you can see from that view there, you know, I didn't space them exactly perfectly apart, and I went ahead and angled them, so again, it makes them, you know, look real rickety, like it was just kind of thrown together real fast. And that's kind of the look we're going for here. So every time you put a piece on, just kind of press them in, you know, nice and firm. Using the hot glue, it sets really fast, so it's practically no drying time. Once you put them on there, they're pretty much on there. Whereas if you used PVA glue, you might have to let it set. If that's all you have is PVA glue, it'll work just fine. You might have to take your time putting them together and let them set a little bit longer, but it'll work just as good. So on that one there, I went ahead and spaced that really far apart and angled it to give it that really unnatural look. And I got some wisps hanging off the edge here, so I'm just trying to clean that off. And I was hoping to get one more piece in there, but I decided to leave the middle part kind of wide. That way there's a big gap on there and there's a lot of space. That way you could kind of see from the top view, you could see down into the stream and the cavern below. So I thought that would be pretty cool. So I went ahead and spaced that out pretty far. And so once you have that all finished up and dried, you want to go ahead and do the exact same thing that we did in episode 1. You're just going to black bomb this whole entire thing. Again, it's going to be a Mod Podge and black paint mix, or you know, if you like, it could be any kind of paint color and Mod Podge. The reason why I'm doing black is because the black is going to set into those real fine crevices that we use the wire brush on, and once it dries, you know, it's going to set in those crevices, and that way when you come over with the brown and you want to highlight the bridge, or any wood piece for that matter, it's going to really bring it out and, you know, make it look old and weathered and real rickety. So you'll see that here shortly coming up. And again, you want to get real deep into those crevices with the paint. Same with the terrain. You don't want to really blob it on there. You want to just spread it in nice and evenly so it'll dry a little bit faster. So once you have all that dried up, go ahead and start adding your paint. We're going to go ahead and color this one. It's going to be light brown. And when you're painting those, you don't want to paint with the grain. You want to paint against it to make sure that it goes across and over those black lines. So as you can see there, we have the bridge painted up brown. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding just a hint of orange, and I'm using a light dry brush. And what this is doing, it's giving the effect that the wood is really weathered and kind of old. So I'm just using my paper plate there, and I have a little bit of orange, and I'm just very lightly going across the grain. I'm not going with the grain. And again, this is going to give it the effect that it's real weathered and old. And of course, you can do this to taste. Some people like their highlights a little bit more defined. I like to just kind of give it that, you know, real light look to it. I don't want it real heavy. And as you can see there, it's really starting to pop out. You can see the grain in there. Yep, starting to look pretty good. So, when you're all finished with that, this is your final product. Cragmaw Hideout. As you can see here, we got our entrance piece with the stream coming out of the cave mouth. Got the cliff face looking pretty good there with the black highlights all the way across. We have Clark's lair. Highlights and the details in the cavern looking pretty good there. And here in the Goblin's Den, of course, we have the rocks and the Pebble Stones. Same thing here. Just go ahead and add some glue on the side of the wall right there on the floor and just let them sit in there and dry. We have the twin pool cave here with our little rock setup, and you see some swirls, and you can see the stream along with the ripples and the waterfall coming down. And I later on decided to add these steps in there because they do show on the map. So I went ahead and used black and just kind of gave it the effect that, you know, you're eventually ascending farther and farther up. So I went ahead and added those lines in there as well. Turned out pretty good. Same thing for the Wolf's Den. And here it is, the final piece. I went ahead and added some 3D printed bushes here. Nice little hiding spot for the goblins when the adventurers cross the stream. And in the Goblin's Den we have their little campfire. 3 wolves waiting to ambush and attack anybody who may enter their den. Got the twin pool cave with the stalagmites. I was going to craft these, but they are 3D printed. Another stalagmite, and we have Clark the bugbear also waiting for anybody to come in his den. And here is the bridge, all finished and done, painted up. I went ahead and added the foam pieces underneath, that way I could lift it up and give it the effect that it was hanging off the rocks. Looking pretty good. You can see the stream underneath it flowing through. And this piece right here was a extra piece, you know, from when I had cut out the inside piece, so I thought that would look really cool if I saved it, painted it up, and inserted it in there, because there is a part of the map where it ascends to a higher level, so I thought that looked great.
And there you have it, folks. That's Cragmaw Hideout Part 3. Well, we finished all the Cragmaw Hideout parts. I hope you enjoyed everything you've seen. And if you guys decide to you know, build this and paint it up yourself, I would love to see your guys' builds. I would love to see how you guys you know, built yours. You know, send me some pics, send me some videos. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'd like to see all your builds. That was a super fun build for me. That was my first real terrain build. I've built some small stuff before, you know, on little 4x4 tiles, 3x3 tiles, and some little scatter terrain. We'll get to those in the future, because that's going to be some of the future content coming out. But as far as Cragmaw Hideout, I would say that, you know, as a beginning crafter and beginning YouTuber, that this was my probably most challenging and one of the funnest projects I've done so far. So yeah, I hope you guys like what you saw. I loved building it, and I love putting those videos out for you. And again, I'm going to continue my my hardest and my best to put out videos for you guys every single week, so that way we can get this channel flowing and flowing and flowing, and get more subscribers, get some more likes, and just put up a lot more content. We're going to do some cool builds on this channel, and I'm super excited about it. So again, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. You know, tell your friends, tell all your groups about it, have them check these videos out, and let's get this community growing on this channel, and make it something very special for everybody out there. So again, thank you all for stopping by. I really appreciate the love and support.
gives me the motivation to keep doing these videos for you guys. So yeah, thanks again. Hope you guys all have a great day, and remember, stay crafty.